But today, we're gonna become a horse girl. In fact, we're gonna become a racehorse today, guys. I'm honestly so excited. But we do have to educate ourselves first, right? So we know what we're going into before we play the game. And Mujin happens to have an amazing video about these horse girlies, horse anime girlies that honors real life racehorses. Because I think all of the anime girls are based on real horses that has been racing. What a zero Uma? Am I a zero Uma? Does that mean I'm a zero horse? So we have to learn about the horse girlies. Because all I know about the like horse girlies are from the PETA video that was amazingly depressing. So now we need a good video, right? Now we need a good one.
Meet
and let's go.
He, a Chinese scientist who had created a genetically modified baby, breaking every ethical law regarding genetic research and being sentenced to jail for 3 years back in 2019. After being released, he would somewhat disappear for a while until he got access.
What? Produced a genetically altered babies. What does that even mean? Did he make like super babies?
Access to social media, most namely Twitter. And in classic supervillain fashion, he would tweet out, "Every pioneer or prophet must suffer," while staring intently at the camera, all while continuing his genetic research. Like,
I'm not sure if I should like this guy or not, but I kind of liked that tweet. It was a little bit funny.
This would, of course, make him go viral, but what were people's reactions here? Were they shocked? Were they outraged? Were they scared? No, they kept spamming him, pestering him even, with one request. Eventually, there will be so many people requesting the same thing that he had to make an entire post responding to it, saying, "Stop asking for cat girls, I'm trying to cure disease." This dude was sentenced to jail for creating genetically modified babies and forging the ethical paperwork. But the only thing people were concerned with was cat girls. Yeah, I mean, it comes as no surprise, guys. Anime girls have taken over the world. But look, if the movie Ratatouille has taught me anything in life, it's that things are better when combined together. And so some of the most intelligent people on planet Earth saw cats and thought, wow, this is really cute and adorable, like anime girls. Why don't we combine them?
Oh my god, my coffee is still so freaking
cat girls? The result?
Hot.
A massive success. This, of course, made even more people think, until a particular group of people came up with a very interesting idea.
I think Bunfish girl is way better than cat girls. All I'm saying.
They thought, well, look, humans love cats, right? I'm sure they love dogs too, but what's one animal that's been with us since the beginning? An animal humans share a very important
horses.
bond. Horses. So listen to this genius idea, right? What if we took anime girls and gave them horse ears
Bunfish best?
And horse
Damn
tails?
right.
Then
Damn
we
right.
would put all these cute anime horse girls together on a track and have them race just like horses do during horse races. But get this, okay? Things don't end here, because these horse girls are living a double life. When they're not racing on the horse track, they're idols, dancing.
Imagine how freaking busy these girls are. They're training to be racehorses, which is basically more than a full-time job. And then there are idols, which is even more than a full-time job. Holy crap. Where do they get the time?
Audience. Sounds absolutely insane, right? I mean, seriously, horse girls, anime horse girls racing on a track. You've got to be shitting.
I don't think it sounds
that
that
crazy. The concept of gacha
crazy.
games is already niche. And horse girls
just
in
me?
a gacha game, you won't find anyone to play this. Nope, I was severely wrong. Look at this chart just on Steam, with a peak of 87,000 people playing at the same time. That's not all though. The game hasn't even been out for 1 month globally and has already reached over 1 million downloads on the Google Play Store. Still not surprised? The game has gotten so popular on Steam that it has beaten every single game on the platform to claim the #1 spot for most
It's above
downloaded games
Counter-Strike?
in this current period. Now,
I
you might
never
be
thought it
thinking,
would
okay,
happen.
fine, maybe it's like this mass hysteria going on. Maybe this concept is so ridiculous people downloaded it, but then realized it's not really for me, right? Look at these reviews, 94% very positive with almost 15,000 reviews on Steam. This game didn't just get downloaded a lot, it's now critically acclaimed. But if you're still somehow not shocked yet, well, get this. Gacha games are typically liked by a very specific demographic, young adults who usually love anime. When it came to this horse girl gacha racing game though, it reached children, their parents, and their grandparents, doing the impossible and targeting
everyone
every
loves horses.
conceivable
That's just the
demographic.
thing.
Guys, it doesn't
Horses are adorable.
matter where you go, the metro, the airport, your office, you will most likely see someone playing this on their phone. I say this with no exaggeration. Uma Musume Pretty Derby has taken over the planet, and I haven't seen a gacha game do this since Genshin Impact back during the pandemic. But if this still doesn't shock you for whatever reason, then get ready to get sucker punched in the face.
I never got into Genshin Impact. I know I started playing like when it just came out for a few months. Then I just dropped it because I was so bored. And then they dropped that hot like a dragon dude, Chongli, I think his name was. Then I came back for a few months, but I just dropped it because it gets so boring after a while. No, maybe that's me.
Because that's exactly what happened to me when I started seeing headlines like this. Uma Musume developer Sygame is a title sponsor for Grand Prix de Paris, a prestigious horse racing event founded in 1863. An event being held for
Did you hear?
2
Mujin flexed on us with his France. His French accent though. Oh.
centuries. And their logo just happens to be on an image.
That's pretty freaking art though. I love this. That's some cool ear thingies. I have no idea what they are called in English.
Anime girl
Ear
that
hats.
is also a horse. What the fuck is going on? And how did we get here? Well, none of it was straightforward, and this game almost failed to release. Uma Musume Pretty Derby has a somewhat chaotic but also very interesting history, and seeing how it's practically dominated the world, I figured we need to talk about it, so let's do this. Man, horses are such silly animals, but you know what other animals I like? Warships, warplanes, and war tanks, baby. And the best part about this is
Oh,
that
it's
I
a
can
sponsor.
find
I
all
was like,
these
where is
vehicles
this
and
going?
2,500 other variations in War Thunder. A vehicle combat
Get that
game
freaking
so
money.
comprehensive and detailed
Get
that it has
that
over
bag.
70 million players on all platforms, including
I've
PC,
never played this.
consoles,
Is this
and
actually
mobile
fun?
devices. These vehicles are as detailed as possible, and they span multiple
We love
eras.
War
You can then
Thunder.
customize
Oh.
these vehicles to your liking. This leads us to my favorite thing about War Thunder, the fact that there are no simple hitboxes. Every vehicle has engines, fuel tanks, weapons, and crew. That's the level of detail we're dealing with here. But wait, it gets better, because if you're a new player or a returning player who hasn't played the game in over 6 months, you get free premium vehicles, 100,000 silver lions, 7 days of premium account, and much more available for PC and consoles. So if you're interested, make sure to get the game for free by clicking the link in the description or the pinned comment. Thank you so much, War Thunder, for sponsoring this video. Alright guys, by now,
Oh my god,
you know
I thought the
drill. To really
video
understand the
lagged for a moment.
significance of
Okay.
all this, we need context, and in this case, it's going to be a little history lesson. And we're
Oh.
going all the way back to the year 1603, the beginning
History
of
was
the
never
Tokugawa period, otherwise known as the
class
Edo
I enjoyed,
period.
not
This
gonna
period
lie.
would be the most traditional period in Japan, mostly because
To be
it would
fair.
be incredibly
I didn't like school overall. I was not good at paying attention for plenty of hours with just books and texts. Not my thing.
isolated from the rest of the world. The people in power at the time feared outside influence. In fact, their biggest fear was Christianity. You'd have missionaries from European countries come in to spread the gospel.
No.
And people were converting
Gosh,
fast.
no. Not the
Japanese
Jesus
leaders saw
Christus.
this as a way for Europe to slowly take control of Japan, so they took extreme measures. They completely locked down the country except for a select few traders who only had access to specific ports. Japanese people were not allowed to leave Japan, and if they
Oh.
did, they wouldn't be allowed back. And more importantly,
Damn.
Christianity was outlawed. The shogunate took extreme measures and massacred over 37,000 Japanese Christians.
Jesus
making it go
Christus was
almost
not
extinct in
welcomed.
Japan and ruling for over 2 centuries. This would all change in 1868, when the Tokugawa shogunate would lose its power and the Meiji Restoration would take its place. One could say that this period was the opposite of the Tokugawa shogunate's military rule, completely opening up the country, technologically advancing very quickly, and fully embracing the idea of an industrialized nation that can compete with Europe and North America. That way, they don't face the threat of colonization.
My tail is here.
During this new era, you'd start seeing more foreigners in Japan, like British and Americans, specifically around port towns. Their numbers would start becoming significant to the point where they'd start having their own communities built around those port towns.
The floofy tail is
This
here.
is where, to kill time, Westerners
Thanks
would
to
start playing
Sophia.
the sports they knew, like rugby, cricket, and of course, baseball, which is now the most popular sport in Japan
Nice
today.
tail. Oh, thank
According
you.
to the 500-page book titled Routledge Companion to Sports History, which outlines the origins of sports all around the world, horse racing in Japan was introduced as early as 1862 by those same Westerners. And within just 8 years, the first jockey club in Kobe was formed in 1870. You see, the Japanese, much like the rest of the world, also had a special connection to horses. They also loved the idea of entertainment. So they latched onto the sport very quickly. As you can see from this
Athena is
drawing,
there for
Japanese people are on
cuddles.
horses about to
This
race,
doesn't
but
happen
the people
often.
organizing it can be seen on the left here.
I want to
And they're
hug it. It
foreigners,
looks
they're
cuddable.
Westerners.
Aw.
Today, it's seen as a prestigious sport, with the Japan Cup having some of the highest prize pools on the planet.
It's
and the
very
Japanese
soft,
taking
very
the sport
floofy.
very seriously, wanting to compete on even footing
Very
with
powerful.
foreign horses. Right now, the prize pool for the Japan Cup is about $8.3 million, with
Damn.
first place claiming $3.8 million. And even though horse racing was seen as such an important sport in Japan, there was a problem. Interest was kind of waning. When you go to a horse track, you'd mostly see men who are in the older demographics. You wouldn't see teenagers, young adults,
Only the
kids, or even
geezers
women
wanted to
that
watch
much.
horse
In a way,
racing.
if things kept going this way, then the sport
Hello,
would have probably
pilot.
died out in a couple
Hello.
of generations.
Yes, I'm a
It was
baby
simply seen
Tenno.
as too old-fashioned. But all of this would change when a particular studio came up with a ridiculous idea. An idea, actually, that almost ruined their company's reputation and potentially could have bankrupted them. I'm of course talking about Uma Musume Pretty Derby. Cyber Agent is a Japanese company that was founded in 1998. They started out as a digital advertising company, but in 2011 they decided to expand in the ever-growing video game market. This is when they would create Sygames, a video game development studio. Cyber Agent would own the majority of the shares of Sygames, but sell a few to other companies, like for example, Nintendo, who owns 5% of Sygames. They would go on to create some pretty well-received games, like Shadowverse, a digital collectible card game, and of course, Grand Blue Fantasy.
Haven't heard
which
of
was
any of
critically
these.
acclaimed. But arguably, Sygame's most important game would end up being one of the first ones they'd ever release.
Haven't heard about this
2011,
either.
Titled The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls.
The
This game would be
Idolmaster.
part of the massive franchise known as The Idolmaster, owned by Bandai Namco, with the first ever game coming out in 2005. Many games for this franchise would release, and in 2011, that's when Cygames would release The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. They made this on behalf of Bandai Namco. What was special about this game is that it was made for mobile phones back in 2011. Namco was seeing the rise of mobile games, and so that's when they asked Cygames to help.
Meow.
The premise was
Oh my
simple.
god, did you guys
collect a
hear
bunch
her?
of idol girls and you would train them, raising their stats through lessons. You would then be able to do a number of things like customize their outfits and even spend money on cosmetics. There would also be many different minigames, including a multiplayer game mode where you can fight other players. The player with the most stats wins. Overall, it was simple, but extremely successful. This game was earning more than 1 billion yen a month.
1
Back then,
billion.
that was about $13 million.
1 billion.
It was revealed that more
can't
than
even wrap my
75%
head
of
around
players
how
who got
much
the
money
game
that
chose
is.
to pay for either in-game items or energy in order to play more. And according to this article, in August 2012, the game had made 9 million USD, which is more than the cost of developing the game. This game was making more money monthly than it cost to make. And all it did was just feature a bunch of idols that you trained, upped their stats, and got them different outfits. But you see, Bandai Namco is truly taking this franchise to the next level. It started as an arcade game, they made a mobile game, and they also
arcade
made
game.
a manga as well as an anime that adapted that same manga. They were essentially using this franchise.
I haven't been
build
to an arcade since I was like a itty bitty child. And the only thing I remember playing in arcades are like when you use those plastic guns and shoot down zombies on the screen. That's like the only game I remember from arcades. Oh, and of course, like you can sit down on like a motorbike and drive around in the game. Those are the only ones I remember.
Media empire, and it was working very damn well. They would continue to hire more developers.
House
to
of the
create
Dead. Yeah,
more
I
entries
think
in
it's
this
that game.
franchise,
It
and the
must be
most
that,
recent
right?
Release would be in 2024, so it's still doing pretty damn well. This is when Sygame would have some sort of an epiphany. Even though this was owned by Bandai Namco, they were the ones who made this extremely successful game. And I mean, it made sense. Why wouldn't a game like that be a success? The idol industry in Japan is probably one of the biggest, most successful industries in entertainment. It involved finding
We don't really
someone
have
young with
arcades in
talent,
Germany.
absolutely destroying their lives
No.
with ridiculously
We don't
rigid
have a lot
training
of
and
them
extremely
in
unrealistic
Sweden either.
expectations, and once they
There are
hit
some
enough
few
popula-
spots that do, but not. Oh, a follower goal. Oh, isn't that insane, guys? We're almost at 500 followers on freaking Twitch. When did that happen?
This is when you would milk their fans with a bunch of different media and merchandise. People will do anything for their idols. They'll literally buy a photo album of them, okay?
Oh.
This is why the idol industry is such a money printing machine.
That is
But
true.
here's a fun fact for you. When it comes to horse racing in the West, certain jockeys, who are the horse riders, might have fans. Sure, the horses that they ride also might have fans, but it wasn't anything crazy. In Japan, on the other hand, the horses had fans, all right. They had their own merch.
Damn right. Who cares about the humans when the horse is doing all the freaking work? This is well deserved. W Japan. I really need to go to Japan someday. Mostly just for shopping. Not gonna lie. I want to go into all the freaking anime stores and just go ham. Same here. I was a kid when I was in an arcade. Of course, I never played any because my greedy dad lied to me saying you're playing while he didn't pay. I mean, if it worked, it worked. You gotta save those pennies. And if you're small enough, do you really know the difference? I'm not sure.
By name, some even had superstitions made around them. I mean, this is just a talent
Oh,
Japanese
damn.
people have to idolize anything they like. And as much as this sounded ridiculous, there was big market potential here. Sygame had made
Gold
a very
ship.
successful idol game, and yet horse racing was a deeply historical aspect of Japanese culture while also having those same idol traits. You know what else is interesting? When it comes to entertainment, the idol industry is very profitable, sure, but one thing Japanese people love to do is gamble, baby.
Oh,
a
damn.
Japanese person not knowing pachinko is like an American not knowing what a burger is.
Oh,
At
shite.
this point, it's practically
What is that?
cultural.
What would the like Swedish thing would be? It's like a Swedish person not knowing what IKEA is. I don't know. Gacha for life. I'm still so sad about gacha thanks to Where Winds Meet, where I didn't get my outfit. Forever gonna be sad about that. Forever depressed, guys.
I mean, look, it goes without saying that horse racing was very popular in Japan because of the whole gambling aspect of it. And now you can gamble on a simulated horse race. It's not even real. And you place your bets on this spaceship-looking machine, bro. This looks insane. That's how much they love it. And finally, just like how idol...
They gambling on fake horses? That sounds kind of sad, doesn't it? But I'm also like very anti-gambling. I have never gambled. I have to think. I think I gambled once, but it was like my father, like because trot racing in Sweden is very huge. It's much bigger than the canter racing. And we have like every year it's called Elitloppet, where all the best trot horses race against each other. So it's like a huge, like almost a festival thing. And my father was very into these race horses. He even owned a few, if I remember right. So he took me there when I was a kid, and then you can of course bet on the horses, but he did it for me. And obviously we betted on like the one who was like 90% sure to be the winner. And I won. Oh my days. My 50 became like 100 or something. first and only time I've ever gambled. I think I was like 10 or something. Avarius, hello, welcome in, welcome in.
And gambling are huge in the entertainment industry in Japan, we can't forget to talk about anime. And in the early 2000s, many artists were having the amazing idea of giving anime girls cat ears or just small animal features. Not to mention that there were already examples in media taking
having animal features are peak, right? And I'm totally not just saying that because I'm here with the bunny ears and a huge ass tail. Just saying, just saying.
Step further, instead of giving them animal features, they would give them features of objects, like how the game Azur Lane has you collect these hot.
I never gamble in real life. I think it's a scam. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I am with you on that one. I also I guess I've just seen so many documentaries about like how people get into gambling and they become gambling addicts, and it's so like it's ruining their life. They ruin their family's life. It's ruining their friends' life. Like it's such a disease, like any kind of addiction, of course. But gambling seems like the gambling addiction seems so. It's so easy to get into as well because you see it everywhere, right? I think even Twitch does like freaking sponsors with gamble people. Why is it always feet? I don't know. I guess people like feet.
Anime women that are meant to be World War II battleships. I'm not even joking, bro. Look, this woman's called Azuma, and she's part of the large cruiser category.
Large?
She's
no.
Stationed in the camp Sakura.
Is she a boat? Is that
Islands.
it?
This is meant to be a battleship.
Guys, look at this battleship. Do we like it? I once gambled in stocks, turned my $5 into 200 and back to 5. Well, at least you got 5, right?
Bro, like an actual boat,
large cruiser indeed. Honestly,
man,
honestly.
She has some big cannons, let me tell you that much. So I don't know who the genius
big cannons indeed.
Was, it could be the CEO, it could be a producer, someone.
I can see why she's a large cruiser. Oh my.
Had the brilliant idea to sit everyone down and say, hey, what if we combined all these elements together, right? For the gambling, we make a gacha game. For the anthropomorphic catgirl part, we make horse girls. And for the idol part, we base them off the most famous horses in Japan.
Kinda an insane idea.
Because why not?
Why did we not come up with this, guys? We could have been billionaires.
Now, be honest, if you were one of those people listening to this pitch, would you have signed off on this?
Hell yeah.
It obviously sounds ridiculous, right?
No.
Most people probably wouldn't.
What the freak? It sounds like a masterpiece.
Have. But Sygame had top-tier drugs in their office because you know what? They said yes. They then wasted no time getting started on developing the game, revealing it for the first time on the 21st of August 2016 at the Anime Japan Expo. Excitement for this game was actually already starting to build up, and that made more people want to know more details about Uma Musume. So on January 20...
Uma Musume. How did I say it? Oh my god. I call this game UMAMUSUME. I was so off. What the frick is UMAMUSUME?
2017, the main content producer of Sygame, Akihiro Ishihara, was asked a bunch of different questions during an interview, and one of them was, please tell us about the development status. And he said, this game is about 25% complete. Keep that number in mind.
You finally said it correctly.
Now, this interview had also revealed many of the horse girl designs,
yeah, I
as well
finally
as the famous
did.
horses they're based on. It seemed like they knew what they were doing. And they had learned their lessons with Bandai Namco. They were going the idol
It's the first time for everything, guys.
One good game. They wanted to make a media empire around Uma Musume. So just a couple months after that interview, in March 2017, they released a manga. But they weren't done yet because they wanted to adapt this manga into an
is
anime,
more fun to say. Just gonna put it out there.
To do it. The plan was to release this anime in 2018 in parallel to the game's release. That way both would help each other and they would start off with a strong symbiotic media empire. That was the plan, except nothing and I mean nothing in regards to release dates, went according to plan.
Oh.
The Uma Musume Pretty Derby anime would release on April 1st, 2018. It wasn't just limited to Japan.
2018?
Crunchyroll in select regions.
What the freak? Didn't this game like launch last year or this year?
Almost an instant success. Similarly to how people love the idea of cat girls, the idea of horse girls was also very well received. But a couple of aspects that it was really praised for were 1, its attention to detail, and 2, its very skilled world building. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, the anime was a long time ago. Holy.
As the anime was running, the game would release 3 more teasers on April 19th. It showcased a race, a live show, and a story/training section. I can't show you those videos because they've been privated, but overall, it seemed like everything was going according to plan, with the game scheduled to release around the end of 2018. This would be confirmed again on July 2018, with yet another trailer showing off the game and its mechanics, announcing at the end that it was going to release at the end of 2018.
7 years ago.
As people were waiting, wondering when the game was going to come out, Sygame took their sweet time and only announced on December 15th, 2018, literally the end of the year, that Uma Musume Pretty Derby has been delayed in order to raise the game's quality, saying that they will reveal the new release period at a later date. I mean, okay, not a big
Holy,
deal.
so they worked on this game for a long time. It had an anime before the game even came out.
I mean, it would have been nice if you told us earlier, but one delay doesn't hurt, especially if the game's going to be better for it, right? Well, the game...
I remember seeing the gameplay back in 2019.
got delayed again in 2019. And the new release date was slated to be in 2020. Now, Cyber Agent is a publicly listed company, and just like any publicly listed company, they would have shareholder meetings. So in their 3rd quarter shareholder meeting in 2020, they re-emphasized to their investors that Uma Musume Pretty Derby was going to be released in 2020, confirming that fact. Just a couple of months earlier, in May 2020, the managing director of Sygame confirmed yet again that Uma Musume Pretty Derby was releasing in 2020. But then we got to December 2020 and the game was nowhere to be found. But yet again, in the final shareholder meeting of the year on December 12th, investors would be told that this game is still on track to release in 2020, but there were 2 weeks left in the year. It was safe to say that after previous delays, people weren't just thinking, oh, this game's going to be delayed again. They were also thinking, is this game ever going to release? How can you say in an interview in the beginning of 2017 that the game's almost 25% done with a 2018 release date, and yet here we are 2 years later, barely able to make the release? Usually this means that the game has no direction, that Sygame is dealing with an internal disaster. And what really reinforced this narrative is the fact that the game didn't even come out in 2020. We had reached 2021 and the game still had not released yet. It was only on February 24th, 2021 that the game had finally released in Japan. And while it was cool that the game had finally come out, people didn't really know whether to be excited or worried, especially with how Cyberpunk 2077 had released just a couple months earlier.
Is Cyberpunk 5 years old already? Almost 6 years old? What the frick?
And even though it's been delayed multiple times, had one of the worst launches in history. But you know what? As hard as it was to believe, this was not the case with Uma Musume Pretty Derby. People were so addicted to the damn thing, they couldn't stop playing. The gameplay loop definitely took inspiration from their work on Idolmaster. Your horses, or horse anime girls, would have 5 different stats that you would train them on. You'd also have many different minigames and many ways to interact with your roster. You would then have your horse, or horse girl, race, competing against others in a bid to win first place.
We're gonna have the best horse girl.
Will make your heart beat like crazy because there was always a chance that one of the horse girls could use a special ability, including your own, like you're seeing right here. You could be losing a race and then your horse will all by themselves decide to do this in order to win. It just depends on their mood and how you've treated them. One could even say that this was more exciting than IRL horse racing thanks to all these factors. But the game wasn't over with just one horse girl. Eventually, that horse girl would retire, just like IRL horses, kicking off the inheritance mechanic, just like real life. Here's an example.
This is so cool. So you kind of have to build your own tree. Is that how I understand this? So you start off with one horse, you make it the best horse. Then that is like the father or mother to the next one, and it passes on some of their like good things. Oh my god. Oh My God,
bullshit.
that's
As
interesting.
you can see, this is probably more complex than my own family tree, and I'm a human. It rivals the family tree of like some royalty from
There's
the
Uma
1600s
breeding
or something.
in
This is all done with the
UMAMUSUME.
goal of
Yes.
creating the most genetically engineered monster that can dominate
Interesting.
any race.
But
And
aren't
that's
they
what you
all
kind of
girls?
do in Uma Musume as well. The hard work that you put into your now retired horse girl can now be incorporated into your new horse girl by using her as one of her coaches. So in a way, you also become more of
Oh,
a
they're
genetic
coaches.
scientist
That's what they did. Okay. They are coaches. That's very clever.
to create the perfect horse girl after many different runs.
This is a very fun system.
This gameplay loop was so addicting, it was like playing a civilization game, screaming one more turn as the police is confiscating your phone from you because you haven't eaten in 3 days. People couldn't stop playing it. But as this game became so popular in Japan, it started somewhat suffering from success, you could say. You
Huh?
see, usually, the people who own some of the best racehorses in the world happen to be some very wealthy and successful people. Seeing that Uma Musume's characters are based on real-life horses, they had to go and ask each of these owners their permission to have them in the game. The owners agreed to do that free of charge, not charging any money. This was seen as a very cool and kind gesture from them. But here's the thing, these weren't just horses, these were anime girls that were in many cases pretty. And usually when you present Japan with a pretty anime girl, they will instinctively almost want to draw some pretty lewd fan art.
Oh.
That was a problem.
Oh,
Sygame
no.
knew it was a problem.
We
so
don't
they
want any. Well, is it horse corn? When the... This is complex.
created very specific fan-created content guidelines, outlining rules, saying you can't make fan art with the intent to injure the reputation of this franchise or other third parties. You can't do any lewd stuff, you can't do any violent stuff. The owners of these horses did not want to see their horses participate in anything like that. It was a red line for them.
Understandable.
But that didn't necessarily make people want to listen. Now, of course, usually, if you were to break these rules, Sygames would just send you a takedown notice and sue you if you don't comply. But of course, this would be too boring for a franchise like Uma Musume. So some people came up with a rumor that now is regarded as truth in many different circles and has spread like wildfire. If you draw any lewd art of Uma Musume girls, the Yakuza will knock on your door and hurt you. Okay, so as far as I can tell, this all started with
And
this
people believe it?
tweet. A Japanese person tweeted this out, saying, the reason why Japanese artists can't draw Uma Musume porno art is that Uma Musume is based on real racehorses and their owners are like mafia bosses who control the Japanese economy and we don't want to offend them. This was tweeted
Because they're so freaking rich, these horse owners. Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense why people would believe this then. Money controls everything, after all.
on March 11th, 2021, so very shortly after the game released. Now, I don't know how much attention this initial tweet got, but what really brought attention to this was the second tweet this person would make, saying, please retweet as much as you can for people overseas. It included that original tweet and another image, with that person saying, the content of the tweet and the image is complete bullshit. It is a falsehood that amounts to defamation of the racehorse owners. I have insulted the owners of racehorses and other people involved in horse racing, as well as the staff of the Uma Musume project. Racehorse owners are people who are sincerely committed to the culture of horse racing. They are not involved in antisocial organizations. In addition, I tried to make overseas artists complicit
Antisocial organizations?
the prohibition of secondary works that significantly worsen the image of the project, which is clearly stated in the official guidelines. This is all due to my short-sightedness and arrogance. I would like to express my deepest apologies to everyone involved and to all those who have supported me. So this apology was definitely overkill.
Uh-oh. Did the Yakuza knock on this person's door?
To the initial tweet. It was clearly like some kind of a joke, I guess. It was almost like this person had, I don't know, murdered someone. This made people assume that this person got caught by the Yakuza. And
Oh my god. Oh my god, I called it.
Right? At gunpoint to make this apology, because that's what it sounds like. As you can see here, the top comment is, so they found you?
They found you.
No, it's not. It's just that I made the wrong statement. Someone else said, I'm guessing they gave you a call. To which this person said, no, it doesn't. Someone said, I'm sorry to hear that the race...
It's canon now. The Yakuza got him. Oh
Tourist
no!
Mafia got to you. Had no idea Japan even had such an intense culture of racehorsing, let alone one run by gangsters. Then that person replied with, "Please don't tell us such bullshit." This person was so easy to troll. And this eventually got posted on Reddit, ironically saying, "Turns out old-fashioned Yakuza are alive and well in Japanese
Oh my god, this is hilarious. This is actually hilarious. As long as it's not true, you know?
All of these events have resulted in this becoming a full-fledged meme. Whenever someone mentions, "Man, I'd love to draw these characters in lewd poses," someone always comes in and comments, "Hey man, you don't want to do that, the Yakuza's gonna get you." And while it's funny, it's gotten a lot of people to actually believe it, especially overseas. But the truth is that Yakuza doesn't own any of the horses, and that gambling is heavily regulated by the JRA, the Japanese Racing Association. So no, if you draw lewd art, the Yakuza aren't going to knock on your door, but you might get a DMCA notice from a lawyer. But regardless, Yakuza hiccups aside, this game was making bank. In 2021 alone, even though they released 1 month after the year had began in February, they had made over $1 billion. And by March 2025...
So, I mean, this game has been out for a while then, in Japan? Holy. Has it been out for us that long as well? No way, right?
They had made a total of $2.5 billion since release.
Do mind 2021 is only Japan release. Oh, okay.
This is an insane amount of money, but what's even more insane is that 90% or more of its revenue came purely from Japan.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Had the Japanese population in its chokehold. And as I mentioned, these weren't just young adults. There will be endless stories of people going on the metro, going to a restaurant, going outside, and seeing someone way older than them or way younger
Hello,
than them.
Hello, Bill. Welcome in.
It became cultural. But here's the thing. Japan, even though open to the rest of the world, still has a very particular market. Just because something is successful there does not mean in any way that it'll be successful anywhere else. Especially when it comes to the topic of gacha games. So when it came to finally launching the game globally on June 26, 2025, more than 4 years after launching it in Japan, people didn't really know what to expect. It was reasonable to think that it was going to just die out in a few months, with Japan continuing to be its main revenue source. Except what it did was inconceivable. It was absolutely dominating the Steam charts. As you saw in the intro, it became the #1 most downloaded game on Steam at some point, also becoming an instant success on mobile. But what's really interesting here is that it...
Yeah, I saw so many people play this. Even Cadril, who only streams like League of Legends, had this freaking game on his screen. And I was like, what the hell? It looked interesting, but I never tried it myself. Until today. Until today. I'm gonna pop my UMAMUSUME. I said it wrong again. God damn it. Sherry today. I'm gonna become a horse girl. Or I guess a horse girl coach. Owner? Something.
Managed to recreate exactly what happened to Japan, but globally, which was not having a target demographic, reaching
everyone was horse maxing for a few months. Let's go.
Everyone equally. Here's a fun example. Northern Lion is a streamer who's 36 years old. He would not in any way be the target demographic.
He's 36? I'm not going to say anything. I'm a kind person.
Of a game like Uma Musume Pretty Derby. No way in hell. But his chat kept pestering him, please download the game, give it a shot, for the love of God, you'll love it. And eventually, he gave in. Now, Northern Lion is a pretty big streamer. He'll usually average around 15,000 viewers. But when he streamed Uma Musume, he had reached his all-time peak of 40,000 live
people. 40,000 people watch this 36-year-old man play with horse girls? Okay, that sounded bad. Play a horse girl game? Damn. I should have stopped streaming when this launched. Gosh darn it.
Viewers. And you know what the craziest part is? He absolutely loved it, okay? He fell in love with the game, the characters, everything. He even had Japanese players seeing some of the reactions from Western players thinking, wow, we gotta up our game because these guys are way more passionate than us. Look at this.
Oh my.
Gold ship, put it into high gear. I need all you got right now. The Kentucky Derby's on the line. Come on!
It was, with no exaggeration, taking over the
Okay. By the way, feet in gacha games is very easy to explain. When you're making gacha games, you need to make characters that have as much kinks as possible to sell it to the as much pop people as you can. Almost every people on Earth are equipped with feats, and some people have latex fetish or something, but you can't equip every character with latex. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'm just very intrigued. I'm not kink shaming. I'm like, everyone is allowed to have their kink as long as it doesn't hurt anyone or anything. But feet, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. If I had to choose, I would go hands every time, hands down. Hands are pretty, feet are not. But that's just my opinion.
entire internet. And it showed in the stock price of Cyber Agent, the parent company of Sygame, with its stock market price going up like crazy. But why is that? How is this game?
Or I mean, I'm just gonna say my feet are amazingly pretty. I will scratch you all to death with my toenails. Look at those claws. But that's just me, you know.
Game such a success, so highly rated both in Japan and overseas. We've established that the gameplay loop is fun, sure, but there are a lot of games like that. This isn't just a game at this point, it's a cultural phenomenon. So what was something that it did that other...
Well, that's why I love Deep Space has a lot of men and scenes with arms, because of the target audience. Not gonna lie, I had a period where I played a lot of Deep Space. And I will say, Stylus was the reason I started. Should we play that game on stream? I'm totally down. But it would feel like some of the cards, some of the scenes kind of feels, you know when you watch a movie with your parents and a sex scene comes up and you kind of just sit there because like, what are you supposed to say? Your parents are next to you, you know? That's the feeling I would probably get if I streamed that game. Not gonna lie. I only know that this game has a period tracker. It does. And the guys become very caring and very concerned when your period is on its way. It's rather interesting. I have tried it. Ain't no way we got feet cam. Feet for free. It happens sometimes.
games weren't even close to achieving. Well, the horses. Alright, so remember how I mentioned that this game's anime was praised for...
What do you mean a period tracker? Is this a serious question? Werner?
having immense attention to detail and world building? Well, the game was very similar in that regard too. Seeing that all these anime horse girls were based on real-life horses, Sygame did their homework and examined every single horse and its very specific personality, incorporating all these aspects into their anime character. But that's not all. When it comes to the world of Uma Musume, many things in there were based on real-life locations.
I love the fact that the characters are based on real-life racehorses. I kind of love that. I didn't know this game has a period tracker. It's a game. Deep Space is basically a romance game for, well, for everyone, but it's targeted to women because you can only make a female main character, which kind of sucks. And you're supposed to play that game in like first person, like you're in a relationship with these people. So if you are in a relationship with someone, they usually know when you have your period, you know? So it makes sense.
locations, like racetracks and areas around it. We're talking anything from train stations to the convenience store where the horse girls buy their carrots. This wasn't just attention to detail, this was making landmarks out of IRL locations and attributing important history.
No, this is so
Additionally,
cool.
this
I
world
love
wasn't just
that.
made in like one evening. It made sense, and that's because its world building was very well made. Horse girls in this world are seen as a different type of species. They're treated as well as humans, there's no discrimination, and instead they have a real place in this world. With certain gadgets, for example, made specifically for them. Look at this extremely long phone. It's to accommodate her horse ear and her mouth. I mean, look at this stupid seat right here. It's made specifically for horse girls.
Oh, so they can have the tail through the chair. I love this. Well, most of the Asian dating games don't have the same gender romantic options because of the laws and such. That's stupid in my opinion, but it's, yeah, especially when it's like from China, you know. They do not like the gays.
They don't get uncomfortable with their tails. There's even historical landmarks in the anime, like how there are Moai statues on Easter Island with horse girls. They even took famous
Or to specify, the law in China doesn't like the gays for some reason. It's so dumb.
Japanese horse racing paintings and converted them to accommodate the world. As you can see, these are horse girls racing here. So from a world point of view, this already made sense. The attention to detail was there. And so when it came to the actual personalities of each horse, guys, they couldn't have done a better job. For example, one of the most famous horses in Japanese racehorsing history is Gold Ship.
Gold Ship, and it's a white horse.
This is a horse who ran 28 races and won 13 times. An incredible record. But what really made Goldship famous is that he was an absolute diva with the ridiculously unique and rage-baiting personality. In 2015, Goldship had a total of 12 billion yen betted on him. People were confident that he would win just like he won his other races. What we got instead was the day known as the 12 billion yen incident.
What?
When he would do this. Watch. He would simply refuse to race. Everyone would go except him. He didn't care. He just didn't feel like it, and so he didn't race, losing people 12 billion yen in bets.
Oh my god, I freaking love horses. I love horses.
Now, this is how Goldship would look in the game and in general in the Uma Musume universe. They would recreate the same incident in the anime series. Watch.
I love that.
And just so you know, they brought back the same exact woman who was casting that day to voice in the anime.
Gold Bloodline has insane antics. Oh, really?
Ridiculous. So seeing that Goldship was an absolute diva, yet at the same time very skilled, Sygame made sure to incorporate that into Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Very skilled, very talented, and yet would have crazy mood swings, refusing to train, and sometimes, even though having the best stats, would just refuse to race, like they're not giving a single shit. This eccentric personality would so accurately be translated into the game that it would create a new overseas fan club for this IRL horse. I mean, look at this. This is a video of Goldship in retirement. Literally just hanging out.
Look at this baby!
It has over 2.2 million views. This is just a horse hanging out for 2 minutes, not doing anything except fooling around. That's how much of a sensation.
Oh, look at him!
His history.
What a good boy!
Just stopped there and moved on to a different topic, but not with me. You won't. Goldship's personality wouldn't just end with him being a diva. He would also be one of the most successful breeders.
Oh,
with a successful mating rate of 99.
He's a very successful dad, guys.
1%, having over 500 children, with a few of them becoming absolute champions. In fact, according to some stats...
Oh god, I'm already scared that I'm gonna get so obsessed with this game because I love horses. I grew up with horses and I'm already sold. Like I already feel emotional invested by just looking at this freaking video. Oh god. Will this be the end of me?
Finish mating with a mare, she would then refuse to mate with anyone else but Goldship. That's just how good he is, man. But I guess it also explains why he enjoyed it so much. He would swing his cucumber from side to side because of how excited he was. Okay,
well,
I know this is like
most stallions do,
detail,
not gonna lie.
Look into this.
Even the non-stallions do.
they are with Goldship. This isn't just because he was skilled or a massive diva, he was a rage baiter. Like the whole 12 billion yen incident, but also the fact that his trainers realized that, wait a second, in his retirement, he's running even faster than he used to run back when he was still a racehorse, making them realize that he never used his full potential while being a racehorse, almost as if on purpose to—
That's freaking hilarious. He's faster now that he's retired. That's, oh my god. But is that with or without the gear? Because I can feel like every horse would be faster if they just run by themselves.
Despite his trainers. This made people realize that horses aren't just creatures that we share a special connection with. They also have many unique and diverse personalities. Most people—
Didn't people understand this before?
People have a hard time seeing that though, because we don't really interact with horses that much anymore. So turning them into anime horse girls with proper world building around them made us finally appreciate their very deep and valuable personalities. And no one received more appreciation than the horse Haru Urara. You see, when she was young, she would go unsold at an auction. Seeing that no one wanted to buy her, she was entrusted to the cheapest racecourse to run in Japan. Her trainers thought that this would
That's so sad.
be a good chance for her to maybe win since she had a hard time training. But then
I love the colors. The brown, the bright pink. Oh my god.
went on to lose 113 races in a row. Never
Wait. So this horse lost over 100 races in a row, and yet they kept putting her in races. What the freak? Doesn't they usually they try out the new horses for maximum 5 to 10 races? If they're not doing good, they retire them. What the hell? They really kept at it. Never won one race until after retirement. That's freaking hilarious.
winning once. However, when she had lost her 87th race in a row, the race announcer, Koji Hashiguchi, would be absolutely shocked at this statistic. He was like, dude, this never happens. Most horses would have given up by now. They would have—
She still won the hearts of the fan. This is what I mean. Most horses or trainers, if their horse loses a lot in a row, they usually retire them right away, right?
retired. So he sent her racing record to national media outlets thinking, dude, this is insane. You got to talk about this. And they did, which made her ridiculously famous. People started going—
No, I love that. I freaking love that. That's so freaking cute. They're like, oh my god, this horse is losing so much and no one is talking about it. And when they do, everyone just loves the horse. Sadly, Haru passed a few months ago. Aww.
going in droves to where she raced, the Kochi racecourse. The wives of the jockeys, the people who rode the horses, took advantage of this and started making merchandise. And get this, at a certain point, people would go to this racecourse just to bet on Haru Urara, knowing very well that they were going to lose, but they would love that.
Cute. That's so cute. This is tearing me up. Why am I so sensitive? Maybe I'm on my period soon. Who knows?
Because then they'd use that betting ticket as a protective charm for car accidents.
No,
they believed that it held special powers, bro. You understand what I'm talking about here?
This is so cute. I can't.
This horse had superstitions made around it. I mean, this was such a big boom that Haru Urara had single-handedly saved the Kochi racecourse from going bankrupt. They were able to pay off all their debts thanks to her. And today, as you can see, Haru Urara is painted on the side here. That's how much of a legend she—
So she didn't win a single freaking race during her active, professional career, but she made enough money either way because she was so loved. That is so epic. That is the most epic racehorse story ever. Why isn't there a movie about Haru? I need it.
She is. Seeing that she's in the game of Uma Musume Pretty Derby, this prompted both Japanese and global players to select her to try and give her the win that she so very deserved in real life.
That's so
making
cute.
her one of the most popular characters in the game. This renewed attention from the global audience with their love for Haru Urara eventually allowed them to find out that they can send gifts to her in her retirement because she's still alive. They could send her some premium ryegrass directly. They sent 2.7 tons of ryegrass. Usually one person could buy $40 worth, which is 5 kilograms. But people
She's also pretty hard to win with in-game. Yeah, of course, they have to stay true to the horses, right?
Crashed the donation website, and now we're sitting at 2.7 tons. This
Nah,
is an image
that's
of this
so
little
cute.
cutie receiving her gifts, and it's prompted people to draw
Aw.
fan art of this phenomenon.
No, this is
Look at
adorable. No, this makes me so happy. Nah.
how much ryegrass is in front of her. She has enough food until the end times. 2.7 tons, you're insane. In fact, thanks to this game and its renewed attention on these horses and their accomplishments, many of them, who are now in retirement, are receiving many donations, able to fully enjoy their older years.
Oh god, this is so good. This is so good. This makes my this makes me so happy. Because like the amount of race horses or horses in general that gets forgotten as soon as they can't work anymore is just, it's beyond sad. So this makes me so happy.
This is because this game didn't just make a lot of money and renew interest in horse racing, but it has single-handedly revitalized the entire horse racing industry globally, specifically in Japan.
You can give rep yourself. I don't need
Racehorses
nothing
are not able
else.
to retire. This can happen for a number of reasons, but usually it's because there's not enough funding. Back when this game released in Japan, it fueled a movement of people donating to many of these famous retired horses, ensuring that they not only live a good life, but that they can continue to live in general. But retirement isn't fun if you just have money. It's also nice when you meet people, when you still interact socially. Many of these retired racehorses started receiving visitors, so much so that Uma Musume had to release an official guideline on how to visit stables and what to do in order to be respectful. For
That's
famous
good.
horses such as Haru Urara or Goldship, visits sell out immediately as soon as they're posted. This has led some crazy, ridiculous fans to sneak onto the stable grounds sometimes just to see the horses. with
Okay,
some
don't do
games
that.
completely denouncing that and saying you shouldn't do that. Stop. But that wasn't all. Sygame was making a lot of money from this game, and they understood that there's a mutual benefit here. If horse racing thrives, they thrive too. And so the president of cyber agents, Susumu Fujita, has become a high roller when it comes to buying expensive horses and raising them for races, always being one of the leading buyers when it comes to horse auctions in Japan. So far, he has spent easily over $10 million making
Holy.
his own fleet of racehorses, and he's not planning on stopping anytime
So does that mean they're gonna add even more characters to the game? That based on horses?
soon. But this isn't just about Japan. This is about horse racing globally. In May of this year, they had announced a partnership with the 151st Kentucky Derby, the most watched and most attended
Yep, they're still adding them. Oh, they're actually doing it already. That's cool. That's
horse
cool.
race in the United States, taking place since the year 1875. And you had this anime girl horse racing game being their biggest sponsor. This also extends to Paris. As you saw in the intro, they're not just sponsoring the Grand Prix de Paris, but they're the main sponsor. And I mean, look, if you show me an image of horse racing, I probably would think, oh, cool. But if I was a young person and saw a poster like this, I think, whoa, whatever this is,
I wanna be a
want
horse
this.
girl
Where can I get
too.
tickets? It's an extremely mutually beneficial partnership. Additionally, racehorsing merchandise has had a boom in Japan ever since the game had come out, truly turning this into an animal idol industry. These dolls, for example, they sell out like crazy. It's actually very hard to get them, especially if
really?
you're outside of Asia. Actually, I think they're keychains, but you get the point. Sygame was essentially making a lot of money from this, but they were using it for good things, making this industry a better place, helping treat retired horses even better, and in general being a positive force in the community. This reminds me how at some point Hoyoverse, the creators of Genshin Impact, had invested in a nuclear fusion reactor, and in 2024
Yeah.
it became operational. Who would have thought that you spending money on characters in a gacha game was going to end up somehow in a nuclear fusion reactor in Singapore? Overall, this industry is revived. It's back. Audiences now feature women, young people, middle-aged people, demographics that horse racing usually wouldn't be
that's
able to
pretty
reach.
cool.
This has already been happening in Japan, and I'm sure it'll start happening globally thanks to this game. I can't help but laugh when I say this, but it's true. This anime girl horse racing gacha game has somehow been able to single-handedly revive this entire sport while somehow making the world a better place. It's crazy, but it's where we are today. I hope I was able to explain why this game took over the world and why it's continuing to, and I really appreciate you watching until the end. This is a fairly different video from what I usually do on my
It's
channel,
so
but, hey, I figured it
insane.
would be
I'm
fun.
loving
Now, the
this.
sponsor does want me to end this
I had no idea. I had no idea.
video with a message. So before I'll do that, I'll thank you again, say that I love you, and mwah, see you next time.
Mwah.
Thank you so much for watching. As a reminder, you can get 100,000 Servo Lions, premium vehicles, 7 days premium account, and much more if you're a returning player.
Fun fact, the community just finished raising $500k to help rebuild a stable for the horse Meisho Dodo like a few weeks ago. Oh my god, that's so freaking cool! I love that. Aw. Haru Urara, never give up. Never give up, guys. Never. In my country, before actual horrors, we have people who cosplay as Uma to run. No way! Can you bet on them too? Ah, that's so funny. Oh my god, this was such a good video. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad.